It's now time to complete your first full assessment. When you create a new wound on your patient, the wound will appear as red. When you come back in for the second assessment, the wound will appear as yellow. Once you have closed the wound, it will appear as green. As you can see, there are 4 different types of assessments that you can choose from. When you are doing your first assessment on a new wound, you can only select to do a full assessment. Once the wound becomes active, you can choose from the other assessment types. This training video will only cover how to complete a full assessment. There will be additional training videos teaching you how to complete a partial assessment and what the difference is between a full and partial, as well as learning about this feature called Populate Previously Saved Assessment. The first time you complete an assessment for a new wound, it will take some time as there are many details that need to be entered in. Let's begin with our patient's full assessment. The first thing I'm going to do is enter in the date of onset. I'm just simply going to click the little calendar pop-up, and I'll select the 24th of February. My wound status is open. I'm going to enter if this is a recurrent wound. I'll say no. Remember, these are required fields anytime you see the little red asterisk. And this brings me down to my pain scale. I'll say 9, and I'll enter in my patient's pain comments. Leg feels like it's on fire. And this takes me down to the dimensions of my wound. The wound is measured in centimeters with a division of millimeters. I simply click on the drop-down menu. I'll say that it's 8 centimeters and 5 millimeters in length. And for our width, we'll say that it's 5 centimeters, 0.3. And this takes us down to our wound depth. And we'll say that it's 8 millimeters. Next we have number of undermined areas, number of sinus tracts, and number of fistulas. You'll notice that we have these little library pop-ups. Pixelair is proud to offer you educational support throughout the software. Inside these pop-ups are definitions and images. Whenever you require assistance with a definition, simply click on one of these little library pop-ups. For more in-depth assistance, remember to use your Help button located at the top right corner of your screen. And inside the Support tab, located on the right side of your screen, you'll find many FAQs with step-by-step directions. This takes us down to our wound bed. I just want you to take note that the wound bed percentages must add up to 100%. So what we need to do is we need to describe our wound. So for our wound today, we're going to say that this wound has weepy skin, has slough, as well as granulation tissue. And once I've entered in the description for my wound, I need to select the percentages. So for my weepy skin, I'm going to say 20%. For my slough, I'm going to say 60%. And for my granulation tissue, I'm going to say 20%. Pixelair will automatically recognize if your percentages do not add up to 100%, and you will be requested to go back and to fix that. This takes us over to our exudate characteristics. Again, remember this is a required field. I'm going to say serous. And this takes us down to our exudate amount. You'll notice that under exudate amount, we have these little round radio buttons. That's just letting you know that you can only make one selection. You cannot make more than one when there's a radio button. But if you're working with one of the square boxes, you can make as many selections as you'd like. Next, we have odor after cleansing. I'm going to say yes. This takes us down to our wound edge. I'm going to say that my wound is eroding and hypergranulation. And this takes us down to our peri-wound skin. I'm going to say that my wound is weepy and boggy and fragile. And remember, these little library definitions are here to help you. And the last thing that we get to do is upload an image for our wound. You'll see that we're able to upload up to 3 images for each assessment. All we need to do is simply click Choose File, and we're able to select the wound that we want to have inside of our assessment. I'm going to select left leg, sores 1, and click Open. And once I've uploaded my image, I'm able now to move on to the next icon. Remember, as you're working your way through Pixlr, you're able to use the icons located at the top of the screen or the icons located at the bottom. I'm now able to move on and click Treatment. This is going to temporarily save my information up until this point.